PWHL is not only breaking massive women's hockey records, it's also showing no signs of slowing down and in fact set to expand again next season. If you're new to the world of women's hockey, the PWHL stands for the Professional Women's Hockey League, and right now we are in the third season of that league. And during this third season, we've added 2 teams to the original 6, expanding the league not only to 8 total teams, but also across the entirety of North America. When the league first started, we only had 6 teams, and 3 of those were in the US and 3 of those were in Canada. And most of those teams were concentrated in the Northeast, with 2 of those teams stretching to the Midwest as far as Minnesota. For this season, we knew that we were going to have 2 expansion teams, and those ended up going all the way to the West Coast, with 1 team in Canada, the Vancouver Golden Eyes, and a 2nd team in Seattle, the Seattle Torrent. Before the season kicked off, the record for attendance for a professional women's hockey game in the US was actually set the year prior. That was during something we had last year called the PWHL Takeover Tour, where we saw teams play on neutral ice all over the states in Canada, trying to see which markets might be the best place to expand the league. At the game in Detroit during that takeover tour, the record for attendance at a professional women's hockey game in the US was set at 14,288 attendees. But less than a year later, when the Seattle Torrent had their home opener at the Climate Pledge Arena against the Minnesota Frost, that record was shattered again, when 16,014 attendees showed up to the very first women's hockey game at home in Seattle. If anyone had been wondering whether or not it made sense to expand to the West Coast, it was absolutely made clear that it not only was in Seattle, but also in Vancouver. Before Seattle's home opener, where they set this new attendance record, Vancouver had also set their own record when they sold out their home arena at 14,958 attendees. At the time, that was the biggest crowd we had seen at a regular team's home arena during a regular season game for the PWHL. And when we look at all of this attendance growing rapidly, it's not surprising that a PWHL representative confirmed that the league intends to expand again next year. At the bare minimum, we will see 2 teams added to this league, but it's expected that we'll actually see 4 in one season. Once the league actually reaches 12 teams, we'll likely see them pause. But I think it shows how hungry people are for women's sports, and how sports that may have been neglected in the past, once they have a little bit of investment behind them, are exploding. When it was announced last year that the PWHL was going to expand, there were cities that were actively campaigning to see a team in their town. And now we're going to see that repeat as we watch these teams that are just starting out bring in some of the biggest attendance that has ever happened in this league. And it's important to remember how young this league is in the first place. We are only in our 3rd season of the PWHL, and it's already poised to continue growing at such a rapid pace, not only opening up more opportunity for fans, but more opportunity for women to become professional hockey players as a career. And I think with this season being paired at the same time as the Winter Olympics, we're going to see the excitement grow for this sport and continue to help this league grow in a massive way. And if you're a PWHL fan that doesn't have a team in their city, what city are you hoping to see become one of the next 4 that gets an expansion team?